I want to speak about a range of issues that relate to protecting our residents. Issues that affect consumers in their pocketbooks, but that could also have a far more serious impact. At the beginning of the pandemic, and has so often happens in the midst of emergencies, there are those who would prey on the fears of people in the midst of a pandemic like this and take advantage of them by jacking up the prices, for example, of COVID home tests. By not reporting, you're failing to protect your neighbors, your friends, and others. And as price gouging persists, if it does, it also sends a horrible message and it creates panic in the community. Governor Newsom just issued an executive order on price gouging. This is what price gouging means. If before January 8th, which was the date of Governor Newsom's order, there was a seller of a home test kit, that seller cannot sell it for more than 10% more than it sold before Governor Newsom's emergency order. And if a seller wasn't yet selling test kits, that seller can only sell it for up to 50% more than it cost that seller to get and produce in the first place. Here is an example of one among many home test kits that are available. And again, something like this should cost in the range of, $15, $20 at most for a couple tests that are included in the package. If you think that you're confronting an incidence of price gouging, then first, you don't have to buy the product to report it to us. If you do buy it, keep a receipt. If you happen to know what it costs beforehand and have evidence of that, all the better. We've been seeing pop-up locations emerge throughout Los Angeles, often in commercial parking lots, for example. The LA County Department of Public Health has a website that has a list of approved testing locations. Now, I want to point out there are testing locations that are legitimate that are not yet on the LA County website. I would urge that you look online for complaints about that location, for reviews of that location. Another way to determine whether a pop-up location is in fact legitimate, the Centers for Disease Control requires a specific license. It's called a CLIA license. I would much rather prevent a problem from escalating than have to deal with the aftermath and vindicate people's rights, because then there's been victims involved. So let's work together to prevent this.